Good morning, students. So today we are going to learn to display values from multiple tables. So I'll just insert a break here and I'll start. Why do we need to display values from multiple tables? Because last time, I hope you remember that DBMS recommends us to save bifurcated values in different tables. Database is normally a collection of multiple tables. Like you may have college database in which you may have different tables. Remember, database and tables are two different terms. They mean different. Database is a collection of multiple tables. So college database, you can say college management database in which you will have different tables. Like there could be one table called as student, then another table called as courses, then another table called as teachers or faculties. Then another table could be of subjects, something like that. There could be a table called as marks. Fine. So normally a case study is a collection of all these different tables. Why the data has to be bifurcated? Because storing all these kinds of data in single table creates lot of confusion, and basically it creates one important problem of data storage, that is called as redundancy. Redundancy means repetition. Unnecessary, you may have to repeat the same data at multiple locations. And that redundancy gives rise to other problems like data inconsistency, or um, data loses its integrity. So to avoid that, there is a lot of, you can say, research done, and based on the algebraic base, mathematical base foundation, this database management system is evolved. Later on, you will see we are going to learn even relational algebra. That time you will see all algebraic operations, how we can perform on this database values also. So anyways, when the data is bifurcated into multiple tables, sometimes we may require data from multiple tables to view at a time. Like to give you an example, in our last class, we have created a student table and then we created marks table. Remember that data from multiple tables can be fetched only when the data is related to each other. So ideally, it is always better to create primary key and foreign key relationships before we proceed with uh, this particular, uh, you can say, collection of data from multiple tables. So those tables should be related with each other through some common field, that is primary key and foreign key relationship. Now, how this student table and marks table are related? They are related through roll number. So suppose if I ask you a question that what is the score of DDD in internal, you can say exam 2. What is the score of person DDD, student DDD in internal exam 2? So your answer will be 99. How did you give that answer? I'll tell you. See how fast and how smartly your brain has worked. So it happened like this. Actually, what you did is you saw the marks. In marks, we don't have any relation of DDD, in the sense we don't have name field. So we don't know, we will not understand whose marks they are. So what I did, either you start from the student DDD, what you do is you go to see his roll number, because in the marks table we have roll number. So first I checked, my brain internally, even your brain has checked the roll number of DDD And when you realize the roll number of DDD is 4, internally you linked that roll number 4 to the marks table. And then you went to internal marks 2. And then you found out that it is 99. See, all this connection your brain has done. What was the connection made? First, you found out, okay, what is common in both the tables, that is roll number. So you did, you found out roll number of DDD, because my question was, what are IA2 marks of DDD? So you found out roll number of DDD, you took that roll number in marks table, and from that roll number 4, you tried to fetch IA2, and then thus your answer would be DDD's score in internal exam 2 is 99 for one particular subject, you can say. It is 99. So this is how your brain has worked. So similarly, how we can make DBMS fetch the values from multiple tables by creating a link like this. If you don't understand, if there is no common field, imagine if there would be no roll number. It is something like this. If there would be no roll number. And then if I ask you what are DDD's marks in IA2, will you be able to tell? No, without common field, without roll number, you will not be able to tell. There should be some common field in both the tables by which you can find the common fields. So this is how this common field is normally a primary key and foreign key relationship formed by the primary key and foreign key relationship. Now what I do is, okay, let me delete this and let us try to make DBMS fetch the value from multiple tables through SQL statement. So what is that SQL statement? So you can fetch the values from multiple tables like this by giving comma between the table names. See, the syntax is select field names from table name, right? Earlier we used to select multiple fields from one table. But now with the same syntax, let us try to select or display multiple fields from multiple tables. Like I want to display names of the students along with their IA1 and IA2 marks. Actually, in marks table, I have only roll number, I don't have names. And in student table, I have names, but I don't have marks. So if I want to display names along with their marks, then I will have to take the values from both the tables. So what is my syntax here? Select SNAME, comma IA1, comma IA2. So all these are fields. So first is select field names from, after from table names. So from which table? Sequence doesn't matter here. So I take from student table and then marks table. Right? Student and marks. From both these tables, I want to display SNAME, IA1, IA2. Now, how you would imagine, or what result you are expecting? You are expecting a result like this. AAA 78, 76, BBB 56, 67, CCC 66, 69, DDD 90, 99, EEE 87, 88, and FFF 98, 97. This is the result your people are expecting, right? But see the miracle. When I type this SQL statement and then when I press enter, look what has happened. I've already executed that. What has happened? Actually, I was expecting how many records? 6 records. But how many are it is displaying? 36. So what it has actually done, if you can see from the output, it has actually taken first row from the first table. It has joined, it has taken the value from the first row from the second table. Then what it has done? It has taken second row from the first table and again it has taken first row from the second table. So like this, the 78 and 76, it has attached all the fields the same value. Then it has gone to the second set of values, that is 56 and 67. Again, what it has done, it has attached it to AAA, BBB, CCC, DDD, EEE. You remember in set theory, there was one concept called as Cartesian product. What do you mean by Cartesian product? You had something like this. Just right? So you had Cartesian product like this. Suppose you had two sets, 1, 2, and here you had another set. Your Cartesian product would be this is a Cartesian product. It will go on like this. Uh, So it will have a values equal to the number of elements in the first set into the number of elements in the second set. So those many sets of values it will provide, subsets. So there will be 6. Similarly, what has happened here? In case of our SQL, what has happened? There are 6 records from the first table, 6 records from the second table. When it performed Cartesian product, it took first value, then first value from your second value, then paired with first, third, again paired with first. So once it has finished all these values from the first table attaching with the first pair, then it has taken again the entire set with second pair, entire set with third pair, like that. So 6 into 6 total, it has created 36 records. So by default, whenever you try to fetch values from multiple tables, what DBMS does is it creates output in the form of Cartesian product. So why it happens? Because as you know that computer is a machine, it's a dumb, it will not understand by common sense that I have to fetch the roll number 4, then I have to attach it to roll number 4 and then select that marks. Your brain has smartly worked like that. Fine. So similarly here also, now we have to make computer do these things. So how to make computer do these things? So to make that, there is a special syntax. So let me type that and show. First thing is same. Select whatever fields I want and then from whichever tables I want. Then I have to give a where condition and I have to give a matching condition from the both the tables. I have to tell DBMS that take roll number from first table and match it with the roll number from the second table. So how should I do that? Where you should take, and then you can't say roll number equal to roll number. It will not understand which roll number. See, if I give like this, roll number equal to roll number, match it with the roll number, then it will say column ambiguously defined. Remember this common error you will get, even you will get in your journal programs. So what do you mean by ambiguously defined? That means confusing. It is not understanding because roll number is there in which both the tables. So which roll number to take first and which to take second, it is not understanding. So to solve this ambiguity error, what you should do is where I should prefix it with the table name, where student dot roll number equal to marks dot roll number. So take the roll number from the student table, match it with the roll number from the marks table, and only when the matching is found, display the corresponding values, that is related values of name, IA1, IA2, only when the match is found. That means how I'm telling my DBMS to work, I'm telling my DBMS to take a roll number from the first table and take the name, then try to match that roll number in my marks table. Wherever it finds the exact match for roll number, only take the marks from that and then attach it, display it in front of this name AAA. Similarly, take the roll number, second roll number, find, take the name, then go to marks table, find a matching roll number, and then display the marks. So as a result, let us see now when I execute this query, see the output. Isn't it correct? It has taken first name and then that first name's roll number is 1. So it has taken roll number once, I1 marks and I2 marks. Fine. So it has taken second student who's with roll number 2 and then his marks are displayed exactly in front of it. Clear with this? So this is how you have to display the values from both the tables. So this is the syntax, proper syntax. Fine. To display name IA1, IA2. Fine. So this will be our query. So you understood. Similarly, suppose if I tell you to display student's name, age, and IA2 marks only. Name, age, and IA2 marks. So again, the same. My query will just change like this. What should be my where condition? Same matching. So I must match with the roll numbers itself. So I'm displaying name, age, and only IA2 marks. So this is how it will display any fields from both the tables for the matching records when you have given this uh, matching condition. So this is the condition to be matched first from both the tables. So this is the example what we have seen from both the tables. I think for lab now, this much if you do in tomorrow's lab, that is sufficient. Now let us try to move towards our journal programs. So now we will learn one more section in SQL, which is very important, and in your journal programs, we will have to use this. What is that? It is introduction to Oracle aggregate functions. So aggregate functions, they work on multiple rows and then they provide one common value. So what are these aggregate functions? Oracle aggregate function is a type of function which operates on specified column values. Column means vertical. So for a particular column, it works on all the values which are present and it returns a single row result. So which are the aggregate functions? One is AVG. So remember, these are the keywords for Oracle. You can't use them in your Oracle database to name your tables or fields. So first function is AVG. It returns average value for the specified column values. Then second function is sum. It returns sum uh, for a specified column values. Max returns the maximum value among the values which are available for a particular column. Minimum returns the minimum, and count returns the number of rows for that particular column. Normally count is like, anyways, we'll see one example of it. We'll go to SQL and we'll try to perform. So aggregate functions. Suppose aggregate function means normally these work on the numeric values. There are also text functions and date functions, but for your general program, whatever is important that we'll cover, and basically we require numeric functions only. So we will cover only those. So first is AVG function. So here actually it is in the marks table we have numeric values. So we'll take marks table itself, and from the marks table we'll try to find the average marks scored in internal assessment 1, that is in internal exam 1. What is the average score of the entire class? I hope you understand what is meant by average. It is something like in cricket match, you have every row, every over. In every over, people might have scored different score. That means they might have hit different number of runs. In one over, suppose if they have scored 2, and in another, if they have scored 4. So what is the average run rate? In 1 over 2 and in another over 4, that means the average run rate will be addition and division of the number of overs. That means average run rate is 3. So this is how, if 50 overs are done, then each over total number of runs and number of divided by number of overs. So that is your average. You find out average run rate. So similarly, we try to find average score of a student in one particular exam. So for that, we will use AVG function. So how to use? In your SQL query, select AVG, and then you have to specify the column for which you are calculating the average. IA1, suppose internal exam 1. From which table? So remember, aggregate functions, they work on a particular column values and they provide a single result. So it is the average score for IA1, it is 79.16. Similarly, if I take it from IA2, is 82.66. So you can see students have performed better in internal exam too. They are more serious. Same should be the case with you people, because you know nowadays even your final marks are considered based on your internal marks. I mean, internal marks weightage is more, sometimes considered more. So here you can see how to use AVG. Similarly, if I want to find sum, actually sum is not required, but just to show you sum of the marks. We normally don't calculate sum of the marks, but sum is 496, just to demonstrate you the function. Then similarly, suppose you want to find who has scored maximum. Who in the sense, what is the maximum score in internal exam 2? So max is 99. You can see in internal exam 2. And similarly, what is max in internal exam 1? 98, right? You can just try to change the column name. It will check all the rows. Now, of course, you have only 6 rows here. But suppose in any of your table, if you have around thousands of rows, still it will take the same amount of time, and it will just give you a result within a minute. We found out maximum. Similarly, if you want to know what is the minimum score in internal exam 1, select min of that particular column from so we have worked on max, min, sum, and AVG. Now we'll say count. Count means it will count the number of rows. And normally this is how we have to specify the column. When I say count, okay, before that, let me just show you. Select star from marks. I wanted to display all the rows for you. So when you count the number of rows for a particular column, it is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is for I1. When you go for I2, again there will be 6 because in every row you will find normally the same amount of records. Here we have whether you take like this, whether you take count of I1 or whether you take count of I2, it means the same. Because number of records will remain same whichever field you may take. So that's why when we take count, they even take like this count of, only for count it is allowed. For other functions it is not allowed. So when they tell you to count the number of students, so if the query is asked to you, count the number of students who are admitted. So you will count these values from the student table also. So you can just say select count star from student. For count, your field name need not be numeric. You can just say count star. Star means or any field. It will take into consideration any field and it will display you number of records in that particular table. Similarly, when you have 10,000, you can even find how many records are there. So these are the basic things what I told you about aggregate functions. So we'll stop here today. And that is what we are going to do in tomorrow's lab. Once we finish with this, we'll start with journal program.